Welcome back, researchers. If it's your first time here, my name's Adriana, and this channel is dedicated to sharing all the lessons I've learned and am learning as a new real estate investor. The pandemic has undeniably changed many aspects of our lives and will continue to question and challenge our future way of living. Here in Toronto, the condo market, and the rental market in specific, have really taken a hit. While this hasn't halted the pre-construction market in terms of release and sales, it has pushed developers to offer more incentives. The most obvious incentive I've noticed are the changes to the typical deposit structure. Let's take a look at a few projects that were released prior to the onset of the pandemic and after to see what the difference is. What I've done is selected 5 pre-construction projects that were released in 2018 and 2019. And these were projects that either I've invested in or were interested in. I'm going to compare those deposit structures with the deposit structures of projects that were released after June 2020 to see what the difference is. Both sets will include representation from the West End, Central, and East End of Toronto. Before we dive in, I just need to preface that almost all pre-construction projects require 20% down divided into 5% installments. The first 5% is almost always due within the first 30 days of signing. The remaining 15% is up to the developer to define when the 5% installments are due. What we're looking at in this video is when those 5% installments are due. Obviously, as an investor, it is more favorable to have more time to pay it off. Now, the next couple of slides have a lot of data, but I do have a summary at the end, so bear with me. These are the 5 pre-pandemic projects I've selected. The Conservatory Group's Water's Edge, Empire's The Phoenix, Sugar Wharf by Menkeith, The Well by Tridel, and Tribute's Lynx. And here are the deposit structures. Some of the key highlights include, for the first 5% deposit due within 30 days, there were some slight variations of the amount due at signing. It was either $5,000 or $10,000. 2 of the projects, Sugar Wharf at Yonge and Lakeshore and Lynx at Main and Danforth, actually required an additional 1% for a total of 21% down. Empire's Phoenix is the only project of the 5 that defers the last 5% down until occupancy. Let's take a look at the projects that were launched after the onset of the lockdown. These are the 5 projects I've selected. 28 Eastern by Altera, Empire's 162 Queens Quay, Urban Capital and Spotlight Developments Reina, Context and RioCan's Queen and Ashbridge, and Elad Canada's Galleria 3. The key highlights are as follows. None of the developers asked for an additional 1%. 4 out of the 5 projects don't require the last 5% to be paid until occupancy, making it the norm instead of the exception. The Queen and Ashbridge and Empire's 162 Queens Quay projects actually gives you up until 90 days to pay the first 5%. So, what do these deposit trends mean for you as the investor? I've calculated the averages of when the 5% installments are due and converted them to months. So let's take a look. Prior to the pandemic, the first installment of 5% was always due within 30 days of signing. Now, the average is 54 days from signing. The second installment would have been due 4 months from signing. Now, the average is 7 months. The third would have been due 7 months from signing. And now, you have 16 months, or a year and 4 months. And lastly, you would have had 23 months, or almost 2 years for the last 5%. Not bad, eh? But now the average is 45 months, or almost 4 years. So it looks like developers are extending the time for purchasers to pay the installments as one incentive to attract buyers. This can also indicate that it's opened up opportunities for others who were previously not able to purchase because of the relatively shorter time frame of when the payments were due. Now, there have been contentious debates about the condo market not being able to bounce back to what it used to be because the nature of work may be changing permanently. But that's a whole other story. What I wanted to highlight here is that the time an investor has to fulfill the deposits has essentially doubled in post-lockdown. I hope you found this comparison of the changes to the deposit structure helpful. But did you notice anything else that's changed? Let me know in the comment section below. It would be great to hear from you. As always, thank you so much for tuning in to Research, and I'll see you next time. Take care.